however you want to do it.
So this is 2 views, 1 book. And do you want to talk about why we wanted to do this?
Well, it was mostly your idea, so...
Well, because I like to talk about the books that I read, but I very rarely can find people that I can have conversations with the books about. And you always have really interesting opinions, and they're very different from mine. So I thought we would give this a shot.
Okay. So, we just want to talk about books.
Yeah.
Cool. And the one we read was...
A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas.
So why did you want me to read this book, I guess is where we should start.
Because I wanted to know your opinion about it. There are some things that I think about it that I think would lead you on a rant, and it's really funny when you rant. So,
Fair enough.
And not like in a bad way. Like, I thought the story was fine. Like, I have some questions that I can ask you to get deeper into the story and what you thought of it. Do you just want to do like general impressions first?
Sure.
Okay.
I guess my general impression of the book was it was lacking a fair amount, in my opinion. There were some things that didn't. There were some things that didn't quite make sense to me.
Like.
I'll say are we going to dive into gory details right now, or are we doing just overviews?
I mean, go ahead. If we're giving an overall general impression, like...
Then my overall general impression is it was lacking in a few spots. For what I was allegedly told was a smut book, there was not much smut in my smut book.
Not in this first one. So, but you said you would read the series.
That's a priority.
Like it increases with each book. There's one book, if we want to keep reading this series, that we don't need to read because it's like a holiday special, but
okay.
Like you would really hate it. There's no point in reading it, and you don't get anything extra from the story. But as with the exception of that book, as you read, the smut gets more.
Okay, fair enough. But for this book, I was assuming it was more smut than what was actually
it's not very
on.
Much. No.
So that was one thing. And I guess without diving into too many details, I guess the way she acted when she first got to the place didn't make much sense to me. And then the story itself really, it just kind of bugged me.
I realized early on that it was like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. Like, she didn't want to be there. Like Belle in Beauty and the Beast. So I think that helped me, and it also helped me because I knew she was worried about her family. Like, she took care of them, and they were all a bunch of, like, for whatever reason, they didn't do anything. They weren't productive members of their household. So she was worried that they would cease to exist without her there. And it made her mad.
I don't think it made her mad, per se, but okay, so I guess we're going to dive into it story-wise.
We might as well.
So she kills one of the fairy folk.
Yes.
And then is, tricked into going to the fairyland, whatever it is, whatever it's called, the overarching name of it. I don't remember if it did. A forgiven name, but so she's tricked into going.
Court.
Well, that was his domain.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's where she goes.
Okay. So she goes to the land of the Fae and is to be taken care of. And right about shortly after that time, I guess, when they got there, immediately, it felt like the way the book described it is almost like every day she was trying to escape. Mm-hmm. Every single day. I'm like,
yes.
You realize you're stuck there for a while. You gotta play the long game a little bit.
You gotta play the long game.
But then I realized with the story why she couldn't play the long game. But
well, she also had to like come to terms with it too. Like she had to come to terms with it. She had to work through it.
Yeah, but if you're trying to play off of Lucian, for instance, and she was trying to get answers from the Surreal, and she's like, okay, how would I trap one of these crazy fey creatures? Ha ha ha, just on a whim, I just was curious. And he's like, they've been around forever. They ain't dumb. You know, like, why do you think you're smarter than they are? You're not even trying to play the long con.
But she catches one.
Because he was nice about it and was trying to get her killed, sort of. But flip side of that coin is just like, you're trying to be sneaky, and she was not.
Oh, she wasn't subtle.
No.
Like you were hoping for more subtlety.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna try to play that aspect or play that game, yeah, you got to be subtler. And she's pretty obvious about what she's doing. Of course, she is a teenager in the book.
Yeah, but isn't she like 19 or something? Like she's an older teenager.
I'm not 100% for sure on the age, but that part was kind of frustrating to me. I guess when I was reading through that, she was just like, okay, I gotta steal a knife. I gotta have a bug out bag ready to go, and then I gotta, try to figure out how to get out of here. What's the best way to do this? And I get some of that, but then she rushed it too much. Is my feelings on that. Like, you realize you got years to escape.
But then she started to care. Like she had to work through it so that she would care and she would learn to stay. And
I get that. And I think it was about the time where Tamlin, is that how you say his name?
I think so. That's how I said it when I read it.
Rescued her from dealing with the Surreal and the other fey creatures that were chasing her. That's when I went, the main plot of this book better not be this. And it was.
What is this?
The way to break the curse better not be her having to fall in love with him. And I went, and as soon as I realized it was, I was like, dang.
But it's not that she falls in love with him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is. She has to, but I feel like there was another condition, and now I can't remember what it was. She had to fall in love with him. So it's just so much like Beauty and the Beast.
The condition was because he had to have somebody who had killed a fey creature out of hate live with, or not necessarily come live with it, but then fall in love with him and be married to him. Basically, fall in love and want to stay with him.
Yes.
And that was in spite of, because of that other gal, which I can't think of her name now.
Amarantha?
Yeah. And her sister and all that stuff, which I get. They did set up the storyline to make that work. And I'm like,
I thought it was a good villain story.
That worked, except for the fact that love has to conquer all. I was like, that's kind of lame. Yeah,
but now we have to read the other books because...
Well,
that's not the end
We're
of the
dealing
story.
with this one right now.
I know, but there's so much more that I want to say because I've read the books and I had to wait for you to read this first one.
Mm-hmm. That's how it works. We got to start at the beginning.
So there are things from the first one that I've even forgotten because the story changes quite a bit. So, something to look forward to. Okay.
Huzzah.
So I have some general questions that I found. And I'll post where I found them in the description. So, let's see.
Oh, can I also say one other thing real quick about the other thing that annoyed me too was the poem or the riddle she had to solve.
What was the answer?
Love.
Okay, that's what I thought too. Why didn't she know it?
As soon as they read that, I didn't try to dive into it and figure out what it was. I was like, it just better not be love or loyalty. And it was love. And I was like, this book. It's fine. It's a YA thing. I get it, but it was just...
But it's not really. Like, it's a little bit more than that. Like, it's a young adult book. Not
it's a YA.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's like almost... It's between YA and adult.
Okay. Fair enough. I was just like, those were just the two main things in the book. I was like, it better... To solve the blight issue, it better not be her falling in love with him, and then I was like, the answer to this riddle that solves all the problems better not be love, and it was.
And it was, yes.
And I was like,
but she never answered the riddle. So anyway.
Yes, she did.
Oh, okay.
That was the very last stroke of the.
Before she killed the last person.
That was at the end of the trials when she had
killed the people.
She had to kill the people when she stabbed Tamlin, and then she's like, okay, well now you can be free in 100 years, ha 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 ha, or whatever. I'll give him back his power much later after you're already dead. And she started trying to kill her, and then she's like, the answer to the riddle was love. And then he got all his powers back and murdered her.
So we talked a little bit about why the parts of living at the Spring Court were hard for Feyre, or I did. Like she really missed her family and needed to take care of her family. What changed and made it easier for her to quit trying to escape every day and to accept that that's what she needed to stay there?
I don't know, because she's surrounded by a lot of beauty, and her every care and want is taken care of, and she just felt like she couldn't trust the fact that her family was taken care of, which I think is why she had to get out. Otherwise, heck yeah, I'll go live in a mansion with some dude who wants to take care of me. Oh, for goodness
But she
sakes.
felt so restless until she went home and saw that they were taking care of. But she was also restless at home because she wanted to get back.
No, by that time she already fell in love with him, so that doesn't.
Well, that's true.
It's not really a point at all. But she fell in love with him because she was really taken care of. Which I feel like it says something in general, but I'm not going to say. I'm not going to make that point argument. She's well taken care of by a rich man. Oh, wait, sorry. She's getting Stockholm Syndrome by some rich man.
I kind of thought that a little bit, too.
With a beautiful castle.
She comes
beautiful
out
ground. She's in spring
Spoiler
all
alert.
the time. You know, she gets to go swim in starbeams or whatever.
That was a really cool scene.
It was neat, you know, but I'm like, yeah, why would you not stay here?
It kind of reminded me of the scene in True Blood where Jason and Amy take that V and are like connected, but then where Amy dies.
Right. So she's on a big LSE trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that. I was gonna. Oh, what did you think about Tamlin not knowing some of the words on her list too? The words she didn't know.
I guess I didn't pick up on that point. I thought he knew them all, and she was the fool and couldn't read.
No.
What words were they that she didn't know? I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but he made a poem of the words she didn't know.
Oh yeah, that she didn't know, but he knew them.
No, I think there were some he didn't know either. I don't know, maybe not. But why did it hurt so much later when it was used against her?
I don't think he was really using it against her.
He didn't. Amarantha did.
Well, Amarantha didn't know she couldn't read.
Yes, she did.
No.
Yes, she did.
I thought they specifically said that when she was in the second trial there, and she had to try to figure the thing out, and the other dude was nice enough to help her out of that. But she was like, I can't let her know I can't read.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
I'm pretty certain that's how that went. But I'll send you talk about that dude too. So
I will talk about him all you want.
I'm sure. As soon as he was introduced and she got the tattoo on her arm, I was like, oh, the love triangle has begun. Is she going to fall for
it
another
doesn't
more
last
beautiful
very
man?
long.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. I was just like, here we go.
Oh, what did you think of that scene where the fairy dies on the table and she wouldn't let him die alone? That was a sad scene.
Yeah, just proves she has a heart.
Yes, that she is really caring and she doesn't want to die alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
everyone
kind of wishes that.
yeah, it was an emotional thing, but I just don't think it was I mean, it was a powerful thing for Tamlin to see. But
why don't glamours work on Rhysand and Nesta?
Probably too strong-willed.
Like, they're too, like they don't trust anyone. They're like, prove it, or whatever.
Right.
Okay.
That would be my guess. I don't think they ever really dove into why it didn't work.
I know, I don't think they did either. That's why I wanted to know your opinion. That was my guess, so.
Not only is she being Stockholm Syndrome, she's also a weak-willed person, so she'd be clamored to death, too. Sweet.
I don't think she's weak-willed. I do think in this first book, she starts out that way, but I think she gets better. I think she learns more who she is. This book is not my favorite book in the series, but yes.
I hope not. It certainly has not been my favorite.
Okay.
I just had a lot of issues with the book overall, I guess, as I was reading it.
I know, but you haven't been very specific what they are.
It's an overall generalized feeling, like there was some action, but not enough to make...
You didn't even like the trials? I liked the trials. Like, I couldn't put it down.
They were okay.
I liked the worm.
Yeah, that was the best one of them.
Yeah.
Because it was the only one that
it was
really...
action.
Right. Finally, some action in a book. You know, that kind of thing. Because if I'm not getting my smut, I need some action to keep me entertained, you know, instead of walling through her, oh, woe is me moments, you know, that she has every single time. Yes. So, I'm like, I get it. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Okay. Fair enough.
So.
Do you like Feyre?
Not really.
I think...
Do you?
Eventually, yes. A lot, actually. But I think that in this book, I think she is still... She's so naive in the beginning, and she's figuring so much out. I don't think she knows herself yet. I like her a lot more when she realizes who she is in the later books. But in this book, maybe not so much.
I don't ever feel like she found herself in the book in any case.
Yes.
To go with that. And
no, not yet. She hasn't.
Then on top of that, the way the book ended really kind of horked me off a bit too. So.
Why?
It's like, please don't turn her into a fae. And they did.
Oh yeah, she got all the magic.
Yeah, she got everything a little girl could want. Good for her. That was also the part that bugged me as well. I was like, just let her go.
So, if you had to pick a favorite character, did you even have one? Was it Amarantha?
No, probably Lucian.
Why?
Because he was kind of a dick, but he was loyal. He was willing to do what he needed to. But I think it was mostly the loyalty aspect to Tamlin, who helped him out of the situation.
Oh, I do really like Lucian. Yes, so Tamlin, no.
So with all that, you know, I mean, while in the beginning he did have her back, even though he was kind of acting like he didn't, because he wanted the same thing everybody else wanted, for her to fall in love, so they could all be free. Yeah, I liked him probably the best. I think if I had a little more time with, I can't remember the other guy's name now that was in the tattoo thing. Rhysand. There we go. Yeah, don't say it like that. Ew. Yeah.
So, you can also call him Rhys.
But in any case, if I got to know him a little more, maybe, because he had enough dark going on with him, you know, from the standpoint of destroying that person's mind. That was pretty cool. But
he's a smart guy.
I know, and that's why I don't understand why they're trying to pretend that Freyra or whatever her name. Feyre even stood a chance trying to compete with him mentally, you know. I'm like, you're full on dumb.
Just you wait.
Sorry. Does she get more dumb with this?
No, she doesn't.
She can't get better.
Should she have trusted Ryson to heal her and make that deal?
Yeah, she had no choice.
That's what I thought too. I was like, she has no other choice. She either takes his deal or she's dead. Like, right. She's not going to make it.
But, you know, he, like, pulled the usual buying a car move. Oh, I'm going to overprice this by $5,000 so I can get it down to
so she
a reasonable...
negotiate it.
Negotiate yes. down to, a week, I suppose.
I thought it was pretty ballsy of her to try to negotiate when she was, like, laying there dying. And he was like, 2 weeks. And she was like, how about just one?
Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But, you know, I mean, if you're going to rescue your man, you don't want to be pulled away from your man afterwards for a vacation once a month at, you know, Castle Day Reese.
Okay, so they keep, after Feyre kills those 3 innocent people, and I know you haven't read the other books yet, but it becomes a theme.
Why?
And it really bothers me because I really believe in the greater good, that if you, sometimes you have to do something that will hurt a few people to protect the masses. And that is what Feyre did. And she...
In this book?
No, but that's
not talking about the other books.
No, but I was... Okay, so what my question that led me to that was...
Okay.
Do you think... Would you kill 3 innocent people to save more?
To save your man?
No, to save the more people.
Well, in this book, she had to kill 3 people to save Tamlin.
But Amarantha could have done anything to all of those people. Like, wasn't it to free all of the people from the underground?
No, this is all about getting her man back. And getting his power back.
But it was also about defeating Amarantha and how
yes,
she was holding a prisoner.
If he got his power back, he was going to mess her up. And that was what she didn't want. And she didn't expect her to survive the trials.
Yes.
And all that. And so the final trial was the 3 dudes, or the 3 people.
That she had to kill.
That she had to kill. Or stab him in the heart, whatever. Yes. Okay. So you're asking about the greater good thing. I don't know what you're referencing for the greater good. We can get to that whenever we get to the point where, you know, like the question of swordfish, would you kill one girl to wipe out all disease in the world? You know.
No, but you do know what I'm talking about because it set everyone free.
It has nothing to do with this.
Yes, it does.
Okay. So she was doing this originally to save her man.
Yes, she was, but then it became more than that. She had...
Oh, that's when everybody else's stakes were involved. She only cared about a singular dude.
Do you really believe that? Like, at the end, like, still that's all she believed?
Yeah.
I disagree. I feel like it was bigger than that.
Maybe a touch. But she didn't know the whole overarching way it would affect everybody and what it would do. You know, what it actually meant to all the Fae people for this to happen. You know, which is why they were playing the dangerous game too. And I get some of that. But, and I guess some of them enjoyed the rule, obviously, like Lucien's brothers, because they were still jerks and dicks. You know, so obviously some people were benefiting from it, and that's fine. But I still feel like she was just, I want to rescue my man.
Okay.
You know, and by rescuing him, other good things can happen, but, you know, all I had to do was say I love you in the car before I drove away, and all this would have been over, and I didn't do it. So.
Yeah.
Stupid.
It's true, and then the end of the book wouldn't have existed.
Stupid humans, and then guess what? She gets to become a Fae.
Would you want to be a high Fae? Why are you being so weird?
To the camera.
Would you want to be a high Fae?
I don't know. Does living forever sound like a good idea?
No, I think it would be sad.
So, I don't. That's a yes and no thing. It's kind of like the Dorian Gray question, you know. You know, there's only so much you can do in life. So after a while, yeah, you would turn into Amarantha to, you know, entertain yourself. So have to find some war to go fight or something like that.
Create your own drama.
Right.
So you would say you did not like this book?
No, not.
Like out of 5 stars.
It had good parts. Okay, we can 5-star this thing if you want. 2.5, maybe. If I'm being generous, I'll go 2.5 with it. It was just not enough action, not enough smut. I went into this thinking it was a smut book. So, not enough action, not enough smut. Too much teenage drama-ish type stuff. And that's the nature of the book itself, being the YA or just above, as you were calling it. So yeah, it was okay. It just needed a little more action, less drama. Was my thing, but then again,
I think I'm probably a 12-year-old girl. Like, I really liked it.
That's fine.
I liked the drama, and I liked how her character is growing, and I liked that she loved Tamlin enough to fight for him, and I like that. I don't know. I really liked it. Like, I gave it 5 stars. It was really good.
Wow. 5, huh?
Yeah, it was a good story. Like,
I
know.
High five that 5-star.
I know that it was a retelling. Very early on, I realized it was a retelling of Beauty and the Beast in a different way.
I never looked at it that way, but I mean, it's understandable, yeah.
But I liked it. I really liked it. I thought, but also, I don't read a lot of fantasy books, so it was like dipping my toe into fantasy, and it was a good book for that. Like, it had been a long time since I had tried a fantasy book before. And when I liked it. So I liked the story enough to continue to read the series, a fantasy series, and finish it, and to try other fantasy books. So it was a gateway fantasy book.
I could see how you could look at it that way. Just some of the stuff that was going on there I just didn't really, I guess, appreciate enough. You know, the sex festival that was going on.
You didn't like that?
I mean, it was fun. There was no smut in it.
Oh.
I mean, you heard about it, and he, I don't know, bit her neck in a hallway, and she was like, ooh, ouch. And then nothing happened. I was like, lame, you know, but okay. It's just, it was just missing a few beats for me, and it would have been better off.
I could see that.
And I have read a fair amount of fantasy books.
Yes,
and
you
of
have.
Course, the ones I enjoy have a lot more action and stuff going on, or higher. I don't know if higher stakes is the right way to put it. More obvious stakes, I guess.
But why do they have to be obvious?
So there's a goal you're traveling toward. Whenever she's.
But there was a goal.
For the first third or maybe even half of the book, she didn't know what the goal was. You know, so you aren't even sure what the goal is because you don't know.
But you have to have a story.
No, you don't know she's supposed to fall in love with him for that to happen.
You don't.
And stuff. It's
but
not. It's not like I need
exposition. You had to learn to care about the characters.
But it's also, and you know how much I love backstory. I was just like, I don't need to know necessarily all these gory details. Here, let's get to what needs to happen to progress the story along, you know? And I felt like she tried to make it kind of a spy thing a little kind of deal where she snuck around the house, was eavesdropping on conversations, you know, and catching little bits and pieces of information here and there. It's like, ooh, you know, what do I do with this? And realizing that she's playing the game right here and they're all the way up here. Because
she doesn't know enough yet.
Common sense would tell you that, guess what? I'm 19 years old. These creatures are about, I don't know, 5 to 100 to 1,000 years old. They're probably a little better at this kind of stuff and playing the long game.
But she's just learning that world existed.
And she's already trying to manipulate it and control it to get out. And I'm like,
wouldn't you?
I would need to understand a little bit before I tried to break out and get it. Like, I'm not going to go run through a forest without the proper equipment. She doesn't even know what she needs to bring, you know, when apparently to barter with that cereal, all she needed was a nice new robe, according to the one gal, as opposed to trying to set a trap with a chicken and all that stuff. She's missing a lot of the details. Okay. So, you know, I mean, so a little bit of recon, a little bit of looking stuff over would be, you know, the smart move. But instead she was, I guess, a 19-year-old and not paying attention to that stuff. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
So, are we going to finish the series? Do you even want to?
Yeah, we'll continue it. I mean, you obviously want to because you like it and you want to share it.
There's one I really, really, really want you to read, but it's the last one. But you have to get there. You have to like, get through the stuff you won't really like to get there.
I've read bad books before. We can make it through that. I'm not saying this is a bad book. I'm just saying it didn't hit all the notes that I needed, and I can only assume
you gave it a mid score.
I assume it could probably get better.
Okay.
So,
okay.
That's my thoughts, anyways.
Okay. We feel good about what we talked about. Did you want to say anything else about it? Final thoughts.
Just some of it was vanilla.
Yes.
And I guess that's okay. Is the best way to put it. And so now hopefully there'll be a little more smut in the books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was the only thing that was keeping me trudging through that. I was like, oh yeah, there's supposed to be more smut. Where's that?
Yeah.
Where's that? And I guess I got to see what happens with Ryshawn or Reese or whatever his name is.
Ryson.
There you go. So I got to see what happens with that.
Ryson. Like, I can't say the D on the end. It doesn't sound right, but I think it really is Ryson. But I always, when I was reading, just called him Ryson.
Fair enough. So.
But then when his name is short, it's Reese. It's weird.
Okay.
I don't know.
So.
Okay.
So I guess I will continue reading this book series to see where it goes.
Okay. You'll like it. It gets better.
Okay.
Okay.
I trust you on that one.
Rude face.
LOL. No, it'll be just fine. So we'll keep trudging along.
Okay.
Good.
I feel like that was a Midwestern goodbye. Welp.
I keep. Lord.
Okay. That's been 2 Views, 1 Book. See you next time.
Later.